I love this job. I love. I like the horses. I love.
For 17 years, Juan Gonzalez has earned a living working with prize thoroughbreds, but he is by no means a lifelong horseman.
I come in this country in 2000 and never been there, nothing about the horses.
A native of Mexico, Gonzalez was 35 and had been working as an engineer when he says a change in his home country's government resulted in the loss of his career. Suddenly unable to make ends meet, he sought and found a better opportunity on American racetracks.
Because you start 4:30 in the morning, working with the horses, room horses, you know, it's available all day.
First landing work as a hot walker, Gonzalez was able to earn $400 for 2 weeks of work, a sum he says about tripled his pay as an engineer back home.
You don't have opportunity in Mexico. Here I have opportunity. It's open for everybody.
With his responsibility and pay gradually growing over time, Gonzalez has risen to the post of assistant trainer for lead trainer Gary Contessa. Like many others on the backstretch, the father of 3 sends the bulk of his income home to family.
Almost 80%, 85% is Hispanic people working here in this industry.
A guy can come here and make $650, $700 a week or $1,000 a week even, and he can live on 200 of it and send home 800. Sending home $600 or $800 to Mexico is 2 or 3 months' wages.
It is life-changing, and it supports their family and their extended family.
Along with the 2,000 other men and women earning their keep on the backstretch, Gonzalez has spent the summer in Saratoga at a time when federal immigration policy continues to stand as one of America's most divisive issues.
The obstructionist Democrats would like us not to do it, but believe me, we have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
Whether it's the president once again promising to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border, as he did this past week at an Arizona rally, or campaign vows to round up and deport the estimated 11 million undocumented individuals living in America, political rhetoric is something many on Shed Row listen to closely.
Always is put attention in the news. In English or in Spanish is put attention.
It's hurtful to them to be talked so poorly of when they're really good people.
Any fears brought on by discussions in Washington were likely magnified when news spread about 2 raids conducted by U.S. Immigration Customs and Enforcement in the months prior to the Saratoga meet. While none of the people taken into custody are believed to have worked on the backstretch, 27 individuals were picked up in the Spa City.
The fright because it's oh, I can hear immigration is close to the racetrack. Immigration got it. Immigration keeping the people outside in the town.
I don't think they understand what's going on. And I live here. I'm an American employer, and I don't really know what the heck is going on.
A lot of times we try to get
L.J. Dorigo, an Albany-based immigration attorney, says the raids follow a reversal in U.S. policy under the Trump administration. He says no longer are federal agents strictly looking for undocumented men and women who are also suspected of committing other crimes.
Now the enforcement priority is anybody that is here illegally. So we're seeing the enforcement net spread much more widely.
Despite his extended time here, Gonzalez and the bulk of foreign backstretch workers are not U.S. citizens. Most come here legally on temporary H-2B visas.
Lets them come here for 10 months and rotate in and out.
Year after year, we bring the same 10 or 15 employees back. Every year, they come back the end of January and they work till November 30th, and then they have to be back in their country.
While the American government does issue other types of visas, including the 5-year P1 visa that allows specialized pro athletes like jockeys to live here on a more extended stay, the 10-month H-2B visa is often the only option available for backstretch workers.
Our immigration system has always been skewed towards the best and the brightest. We want people that have PhD degrees and that are highly educated coming to perform high-level jobs. These lower-skilled positions, they sort of fall through the cracks.
Dorigo represents a half-dozen of Saratoga's larger trainers. Whether it be for horse racing, agriculture, tourism, or any other industry heavily relying on foreign labor, he says there are only so many H-2B visas to go around.
These visas are very limited. We have 66,000 visas available per year across every industry sector.
Contessa and fellow veteran trainer Dale Romans both say they've either seen the number of visas they received reduced or have their applications held up.
We had one person excluded, and he texts me all the time, boss, any change, any change? And we tried, and we put him through the system, and he's going to be the first accepted for next year. So we will make it up to him, but you know, he's stuck at home with no work.
It's frustrating for everyone, and it just doesn't make any sense. There's not another visa that fits us.
Compounding the issue is the high price of participating in the H-2B program. In addition to hiring attorneys to process their applications, trainers are on the hook for fees and their workers' transportation costs to and from their home countries.
By the time all is said and done, it can be upwards of $5,000 to get one employee in here.
The fee structure simply shuts smaller employers out of the program.
With red tape and steep prices, one may wonder why go through the hassle of hiring foreign labor. Romans and Contessa agree the answer is simple. Very few Americans want anything to do with the job.
When I read social media of a misconception that we're hiring people from South America or H-2B visa people and taking jobs away from Americans, and that is completely untrue.
And it's not cheaper. I would much rather have a whole staff full of American employees, but they're just not out there wanting to do this job.
Dorigo believes the overwhelming majority of trainers comply with immigration law, but he acknowledges the struggle to receive and afford visas could lead to more violators.
Compliance is the goal. But if they're backed up against a wall and there are no visas available and they truly can't find U.S. workers, you know, I think they may look at other options which aren't lawful.
There's probably illegal workers here like there is in a lot of labor-intensive business, but we do our best to make sure that they're all here on visas.
It is perhaps unlikely federal leaders will quickly enact a policy that satisfies people on both sides of the immigration debate.
We've got those that are focusing on enforcement. It's the build the wall mentality versus people that want a more humane approach.
I just wish people would stop demonizing the immigrant workforce we have in this country. We're all immigrants except for the Native Americans.
Despite earlier fears, life is moving along at the racetrack. The jovial mood at this weekly backstretch bingo night seems to suggest the focus is anywhere but on immigration policy.
Bingo! I think there was a concern earlier on in June, but I think that's really dissipated now.
That leaves more time for workers like Gonzalez to focus on their dreams. Dreams that may include one day running a barn of his own.
Never know. Maybe. So far, maybe. Never know.